Start it up like, what up, what up, what up? Alright, Danny, Steven, I've been telling y'all these videos are coming. So I finally got the book. Entrepreneurship. So what I'm thinking right now is, so far I've just been taking notes in my binder and stuff. I'm planning on figuring out a way to just explain what's been going through here, how I've been learning it. It may not be exactly how the book is writing about it, but like I'm gonna go through parts, explain what I like about the part, go through the chapter. I'll bring in some of the stuff that I've learned in class and like how they told us to apply it, or like how we've been learning it in class. And like I might post the videos on YouTube or something, but if y'all have any questions at any time, or if y'all want me to ask Professor certain questions, just let me know and I'll figure out a way to get those answered. But since we're probably all going to be in the neighborhood over the next couple of years, if we all at least learn the framework, or like how to think this way, when we save money, when we talk with people, we'll have more opportunities coming our way. So this is going to be the first attempt of it. Right now, like there's 4 parts to the book. The first part is introducing the entrepreneurial lifestyle. So then I'll go through every chapter. I'll probably put like a PDF file or something, of a Word document of my notes, so then y'all can just download them. And then if y'all have any questions from there, we can just keep going from there. But this can be an example of chapter 1, right? So this is the book, Entrepreneurship. The author is actually from like one of the best universities in the nation. It's called Babson University, and they're kind of the Harvard for entrepreneurship programs. And this is the new entrepreneurship book. So part 1 is introducing the entrepreneurial lifestyle, and chapter 1 is entrepreneurship, a global social movement. So it's just kind of talking about the theme of entrepreneurship overall. In the chapter, So in the chapter, I just took down some notes. Not everything, like they have stories, learning objectives, all this stuff. I didn't write all that stuff down. I just kind of took what I thought was important based on what I've been learning, and now just explaining it. So it starts off with the definition of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, as defined in the book, is a discipline that seeks to understand how opportunities are discovered, created, and exploited, by whom and with what consequences. That was one of the first things I wrote down, and I really liked it because it said it's a discipline. We're not going to be good right now. It's our rookie season, right? Like, we're rookie entrepreneurs. This is our craft. We're going to learn and we're going to develop. But what our craft is we seek to understand. So we just want to know how opportunities are discovered, how they're created and exploited. So sometimes a business idea may be out there and you just find it out. It's easy for me to sell things online, so let me try to find something that I can get cheap at a pawn shop or something and sell it. That you just discovered it. You can create an opportunity. It's kind of like this class, like these videos. Some of my entrepreneurship classes, I wish we could have more conversations student to student, but we haven't. So this is my attempt to create something where we can start talking like this. And then exploit it. Well, if this works, now all 3 of us can be connected, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about business, and then who knows where it'll go. And with what consequences. So because I'm doing this, I may not be able to get a job. If this goes well, or if y'all really want me to keep kind of teaching what I've been learning here, I may need to figure out a way that I can do this more like part-time or full-time instead of looking for a job somewhere. So I really like the definition. A discipline that seeks to understand how opportunities are discovered, created, and exploited, by whom and with what consequences. A quote that they had on the side of the book was, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So this is the first video. It's probably going to be bad. The audio might sound crappy. The video might be weird. I'm sitting at a table. It might be a weird setup. I might want to be in a desk or something. But it's a marathon, so we're just kind of learning. One of the first few definitions that I really, really liked in the book was the definition of effectuation, I think is how you say it. But the sentence was, entrepreneurs believe in effectuation, the idea that the future is unpredictable yet controllable. So as of right now, all of us have jobs, very different jobs. I've been a student and I've worked with leadership initiatives like a department on campus, but right now I don't really have a job. So this is kind of my job. I know Steven, he just picked up that monthly kind of contract work, and then Danny's still doing, I believe it's Kroger right now. And so right now, all three of us, our futures are unpredictable. We don't really know what's going on. But because we believe in this idea of effectuation, we can control it. So I'm hoping that through teaching entrepreneurship and us being able to talk about it more, we'll be able to save up some money, say in the future, save up some money, use it effectively to then start businesses, help family out in Mexico, help ourselves out, and be more in control of our career. That's kind of what effectuation is, the idea that the future is unpredictable. We don't know where we're going, yet it's controllable. I'm hoping by learning about this stuff, we'll be able to have control more of our future. And then, so I'm just going to go over chapter 1 today. But, okay. So the book starts off with a history of entrepreneurship. And I really liked it because in our classes, we don't talk about the history of it. So history of entrepreneurship, before 1776, so before like America was a thing, entrepreneurship was defined as one who undertakes a project, a manufacturer, a master builder. So it was anyone who didn't. It could be like a project manager kind of thing. That was kind of the definition before in 1600s. So that was the first time it was kind of known. And then the first industrial revolution, 1776 to 1865, it was defined as someone who engages in exchanges for profit, someone who exercises business judgment in the face of uncertainty. So now it involved not just a project, but it was you were trying to get more money out of it than you put in, and now that word business judgment comes in. That's kind of like business thinking. So that was the first industrial revolution. And during the second industrial revolution from 1865 to 1920, it was defined as someone who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower and into an area of higher productivity and higher yield. So now it really kind of like focuses on that business judgment from the last definition. It really kind of honed in on it. So economic resources, money, time, resources, employees, machinery. So say someone was making shoes and they had a leather and they were making shoes like that. Well, if they were to buy a machine for say like $300 and they could make the shoes with the leather faster, that was more of what that definition was. Someone who shifts economic resources from lower area into a higher area of greater yield. And then the interwar and post-war America, 1920s to 1975. So that's kind of around the time that we already kind of like, we mostly had the 50 states, and that's kind of the time that our parents were growing up. And it was defined as one who identifies new combinations, including the doing of new things or the doing of things that are already being done in a new way. New combinations include introduction of a new good, something that's never been done before. New method of production, a new way of making something, or making something that's already been done but more efficiently. Opening a new market, technology, that kind of opened up a ton of markets, online retail, stuff like that. New source of supply, that kind of brings information kind of into me, but it's a different way to get the products in. And then new organizations. Around that time, like nonprofits weren't that big of a thing, but then they started building up. So there's two definitions in this era actually. So that was the first one, and it's just a way of doing new things, whether that's a new product, a new way of producing something, a new way of getting the same materials but differently, or using it more effectively. And the second definition was a decision maker whose entire role arises out of his alertness to unnoticed opportunities. Therefore, entrepreneurship is the ability to perceive new opportunities. Thus, this recognition and seizing of the opportunity will tend to correct the market and bring it back toward an equilibrium. A decision maker whose entire role arises out of his alertness to unnoticed opportunities. This one focused more on the attention of an entrepreneur, not so much on what he was doing, but his ability to see something that's there that most others can't see. So I really like that definition, because that was kind of the first time it talked about just having a different perspective than a lot of people and seeing opportunities where no one else saw it, and that could be a huge advantage. So it was cool how it went from starting off in the very beginning from just kind of someone who did a project to now someone's ability to see something that wasn't there before, and then also shifting economic resources, money, machinery, people, from something that's not very effective to something that can produce more. And then the last history kind of definition is the knowledge economy. So from 1975 to present. So this is kind of our time period. And it's defined as an individual or a group who creates something new, a new idea, a new item or product, a new institution, a new market, a new set of possibilities. So that's super broad, but historically, that's kind of an overview of where we came from. Someone who just decided to do a project to now someone who creates something new or a new way of doing things. The chapter continues. There's a thing called social entrepreneurship, and that's is the process of sourcing innovative solutions to social. It's finding a way to do good for the environment through organization, through entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship as a social movement. There's this quote that I really liked, or really kind of stood out, that we hadn't talked about in class. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, and the unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man and woman. So if you want to make something happen and no one agrees with your idea, but you think it's good, like you see something that maybe I don't see, Danny doesn't see, Steven doesn't see, like if any one of us doesn't really see it, that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And entrepreneurship is kind of the way that you show people how that you kind of understood something that most of us didn't. And then there's like this graph and stuff that explains like the different types of entrepreneurs. So I really liked it because it broke it down into like, okay, you're not at this point yet, so this is what we're going to call you. It just kind of gives labels to things. So there's a potential entrepreneur, which is us three right now. Individuals who believe they have the capacity and know-how to start a business without being burdened by the fear of failure. We believe we can do it. Right now we're trying to get our knowledge up so we feel more comfortable, but this is the stage we're at. We believe we can, or we know we can at some point. Nascent entrepreneur, I don't know what that word means, but it's individuals who have set up their own business or co-own a business that is less than 3 months old and has not generated any wages for the owner. With this YouTube course, if I open it up to a lot of people and try to figure out a way to make money off of it, that's where I would be. I'm less than 3 months in, it hasn't made any money, but I own it, it's mine. So that's probably where we'll be in a couple of months, like when we first start making our first investments to these business ideas, that's where we'll be. Then the next one is new business owners. And it's individuals who are former nascent entrepreneurs and have been actively involved in a business for over 3 months but less than 3.5 years. So new business owners is really more than 3 months. 3 months is kind of the very, very beginning learning period. And then the 3.5 years, that's your experience. That we need to get to that point. It doesn't talk anything about money, but after 3.5 years, we're kind of at a stage where, okay, you're an owner for sure. Like it's not going to fail. Usually the first year, a lot of businesses fail. But if you've made it into 3.5 years, you've established yourself. And then the last one is actually called the established business owners. And that's the people who are still active in business for over 3.5 years. So just after a certain amount of time, you made it. I think this is the last, yeah. So then the last couple parts of the chapter, and this is just wrapping up chapter 1. But the last couple parts of the chapter that we haven't talked about in class, but I really like the book for, is what makes a country entrepreneurial. And although like it's just the 3 of us right now, I think if we start like thinking about these things or being able to help each other with these things, we'll be able to make our group more entrepreneurial. So then if Steven, you want to bring in somebody, we'll have these things. If Danny wants to bring in somebody, if I'm going to start bringing in more people, we'll kind of have these things set up within our own group. So slowly we'll make it easier for others to join us. But of course we're not a country and all that stuff. But how to apply it for us, I really liked it. So financial resources, grants, loans, private equity, angel investors. So money. If we are able to save up money, start our businesses, and then yes, grow our business, but we're also able to save money, the next person who comes into our group and says, hey man, I have an idea, we'll be able to give them a loan so they can start the idea, and then it's little by little we'll be able to feed into each other's businesses and grow it that way. The next one was support from government. So tax incentives, lower interest rates, access to tools and mentors. So we can't do anything about the tax incentives, lower interest rates. We can't really do any of that stuff because that's government. But we can start getting tools, and I have a library of like a ton of business books, so like that may be our support. And then mentors. So the professors here, if y'all have any questions, let me know, and I can talk to my professors and stuff. But support from government, that's kind of maybe at a longer scale thing. Entrepreneurship education, courses, colleges, business schools. This is kind of just this. So I'm trying to also, through me trying to explain all the stuff that I've been learning through this book in my classes, it's kind of making sure that I understand what I've been studying, and then also it gives y'all a chance to start learning a little bit of what, it's getting y'all kind of the first taste. And of course this isn't going to be enough, but we're rookies. Like this is our first meeting, this is our first training camp, like we're going to be learning. So we're going to be getting more entrepreneurially educated, but this is I'm trying to use this book as a business school for us. Research and development. So that's not really in our skill of expertise. That's like engineering stuff, I think. That's not really for us right now. Commercial and legal infrastructure. That's advisors and property rights, accounting. Luis is in finance, so he might be able to help us out with some of that stuff. Some of the guys in Elite are accounting majors and planning on going to law school, so maybe we can get some help from that. But for right now, we're not really too worried about that. Entry regulation, we don't have to worry about that. Physical infrastructure. So if any of us wants to open up a restaurant, like we can look and try to help each other out, find land, but that's not too big. The big one that I wanted what makes a country entrepreneurial and what's going to help our group be entrepreneurial is culture and social norms, which is basically encouraged that people feel encouraged to start businesses and have the confidence to choose entrepreneurship as a skill set and a career. And I mean, Luis and Eric started a business and they felt very comfortable. So now it seems like that's what we should start doing, at least like start businesses, save up our money to try to make things happen like this. And that's our culture here at the apartment has been changing that way. So that's where I really think we're going to be able to help each other out, is to make it normal to start businesses, to make it normal to save money, to look for ideas and to take advantage of them and then learn and grow the businesses. I want to make that like a normal thing for us. And then the last part of the book, which is going to wrap up chapter 1, is how this book will help. So the book really goes into 5 points that it says. The first one is develop entrepreneurial thinking. So there's just a certain framework or a certain way that entrepreneurs have of viewing the world, and the book is going to teach it. So that's the first thing, is how to think more like an owner. Give you the opportunity to practice. We're rookies. This is our first kind of class, our first kind of... this is my first time teaching it, so it may be bad, it may be decent. Like, y'all may have a ton of questions that I didn't even know, but this is just practice for us. Like, we're 2 years down the line, we're going to be a lot better than we are today. But it's going to give us, this book is going to help us, show us what's a good practice, how to be able to learn for our practice, how to get feedback on our practice. It's giving us that platform to start. To practice the method of entrepreneurship. It's going to show us the way... It's going to show us the way a more efficient way of running entrepreneurship than what was taught a couple years ago.